Okay, we are still working on 9.3 and parabolas. So section 9.3, example, find an equation of the parabola that has a focus at 6, 6 and a vertex at 6, 4. So let's look at these 2 points. These are the focus and the vertex. So the focus, 6, 6, the vertex, 6, 4, it is the y value that's changing. So the format that we're going to have is going to be x minus h squared equals 4p times y minus k. So if the y values are the ones that are changing, then it's going to be the y value that's closest to our p. So then we want to look and see how much are the y values changing by. Well, from the focus to the vertex, that is a distance of p units away, and the y value is changing by 2. So therefore, p must be equal to 2. We know that our vertex is the point 6, 4, so we can go ahead and write our equation from there. So we have x minus h squared equals 4 times p, which is going to be 8, and then y minus k, which, oh whoops, I can put my hk in here. Okay, so x minus 6 equals 8 times y minus 4. There we go. And then that is our equation for a parabola. And then we want to find an equation for its directrix. So its directrix is also going to be 2 units away. The y is what is changing. So let's say, so it's opening up. So it's going to be an y equals equation. So y equals for our directrix. And it is changing by 2 units, and it's going to go in the opposite direction. So it went up from the vertex to the focus, it went up by 2 units. The p is positive, so this is definitely a parabola that opens up. So to get to our directrix, we want to go down 2 units from the vertex. So y equals 2 is going to be our directrix. Okay, let's look at another equation for graphing. So we've got the point, negative 2, negative 3 for our vertex. So our x values are over here on the right hand side, so that means that our x values are going to be what's changing, and that our parabola is going to open up in the x direction, which is either going to be left or right. Because our p value is negative, then it is going to equal, it is going to open up to the left. Okay, so negative 2, negative 3 is our vertex. Okay, now we need to know what our p value is. So our p value, we know that 4p equals negative 9. So therefore p is going to equal negative 9/4. All we care about is the absolute value of that for right now. So that is going to be 2 and 2 1/4. 2 1/4. Okay, so p is a 2 1/4, and it opens to the left, so that means we're going to go to the left 2 1/4 points, and that would be our focus. And then we're going to go 2 1/4 to the right, and that is going to be our directrix. Okay, let's also use that focal diameter. So we're going to go a distance of 2p to the right and 2p to the left. So that would be 9 halves. So 4 1/2. So 1, 2, 3, 4 1/2. Oh, whoops, that's from the focus. Sorry, that's from the focus. So 4 1/2 from the focus each direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that gives us a really good look at what our parabola is going to be. Okay, and that's our graph. Okay, example number 7, we want to write an equation for this parabola now. So an easy one to pick out is the vertex, of course. So let's look at our vertex. Come on, there we go. So our vertex is at the point -1, -3. So we know that that is the points HK. We also notice that it opens to the right. So our vertex, our focus, and our directrix, the x values are going to be the ones that are changing. So we know that that's going to be in the format of y minus k squared equals 4p times x minus h. So that's going to be our format. We know hk, but we need to know a little bit more information to be able to figure out p. So let's write in everything that we know. So k is going to be -3, so y plus 3 squared is equal to 4p times x plus 1. Okay, we need to figure out what p is. So we are going to go back over here and we are going to look on our graph for a point that is a good point. So this looks like a really good point right here. The point 3, -2 goes through this parabola. So I'm going to plug that into this equation and solve for p. So at that point, y is -2. And then we have the plus 3 squared equals 4p. And the x is 3. And then now let's solve for p. So -2 plus 3 is 1. 1 squared is 1. So we have 1 equals 4p times 4. And therefore p is equal to 1/16. So when we write our equation, it's actually 4p that we want. So 4p is equal to 1/4. Okay, let's go back and write it all out. This is the formula that we want. And so we're going to plug everything in. So we have y plus 3 squared equals 4p, which is 1/4. 1/4 times x minus h, which is 3. No. Oh, I did that wrong, didn't I? Dang, we got to go back a little bit. Okay. Okay, and this you've got to be careful with because we do have y going first, so make sure you get your k in there. So y plus 3. Oh, now I'm really confused. I was looking at the wrong point. I was okay. Sorry. Okay, y plus 3 squared, because that's our k, is equal to 4p, which is 1/4, times x plus 1. Okay, there we go. So everything's good there. So 1 plus 3 squared is equal to 1/4 times x plus 1 is the equation for this parabola. Okay, here on example number 8, we have an archway, and it is in the shape of an upside down parabola. It has a span of 434 meters. So if we draw our archway, the total span here is 434 meters. Now we are going to say that our center, or we're going to put our point 0, 0 here. So let's say that that is the point 0, 0 because I want my height to be a positive value. Okay, so my height is 31 meters. So that puts the vertex of this parabola at the point 0, 31. We would also be able to find this point over here. Now this point they give us is not the focus. We cannot assume that it is the focus in any way. So we can't treat that as such. So we do know that the total distance across here is 434. So the distance from our point 0, 0 to the parabola is going to be a distance of 217, or half of 434. So that makes this point over here be 217, 0. Now this is going to give me enough information to find a good equation. Know that my equation is going to be in the format of x minus h squared equals 4p times y minus k. Because it's opening down, this is going to be negative, so it's going to be a negative 4p. It's opening in the y direction, so that's why my y is over here on the right hand side. And let's go ahead and plug stuff in. So our center is going to be at 0, 31. So we have x minus 0, so that's going to just give us x squared, equals negative 4p and then y minus k, 31. And now we need to solve for p. So we're going to use the point 217, 0 to find p. So 217 squared equals negative 4p times y, which is 0, minus 31. So that's going to be negative 31. I'm going to solve for this whole negative 4p so I can just plug that value back in. I really just want to know what 4p is. So 217 squared is equal to negative 4p times negative 31. So I'm going to do 217 squared divided by negative 31, and that's going to tell us that 4p is equal to negative 1,519. So now that gives me a good equation. I'm going to plug that 4p back in. That does have to be negative, so we're gonna keep the number negative. So I guess we should make this one positive here. So we get x squared equals negative 1,519 times y minus 31. And that's our equation. So now let's go back. Erase some of this here, back up to our original equation. We're going to rewrite it, I guess, because I don't have it written over here. Okay, so let's rewrite this equation. X squared equals negative 1519 and y minus 31. So now I'm going to use the point to, wait. We're good. We did the first part. Second part, let's do it in a different color. So determine the height of the arch 9 meters from the center. So now we're going to go over 9 meters from the center, and I want to know what this point is right here. Well, I know this point's x value is 9 because they told us to go over 9 units, but I do not know what the height is. Let's call that h. I don't know what the height is at 9. So we're going to plug 9 in for x, h in for y, and solve for h. So we're going to have 9 squared equals negative 1519 times h minus 31. So that's going to become 81 divided by negative 1519. Okay, and that's equal to h minus 31, and then add 31 to both sides. And let me pause here for a second. I'll calculate this and be back. Okay, and that gives me a value of h equals 30.994. So pretty close to being its tallest value, but not quite. Okay, and that's all we need to do for example 8.